What happens if Bill Gates dies? Bill Gates is arguably one of the most lovable old men alive, so what would happen if one of the richest men and co-founder of Microsoft, the world's largest software business, were to pass away today? Imagine the impact worldwide. Bill Gates has investments in numerous companies around the globe like Autonation and the Canadian National Railway. A little less known fact is that he is also one of the largest owners of farmland in the US. So what else would be affected if Bill Gates were to die today? Keep watching today's video to find out. Who is Bill Gates? Bill Gates and his business partner Paul Allen rose through the ranks when they built and founded the world's biggest software company, Microsoft. They built it from the ground up through hard work, technological innovation, impressive business strategies, and tactics. As a result, Gates ended up as one of the richest people on the planet. In 2014, the entrepreneur and business mogul announced that he was going to step down as the company's chairman and shift his focus towards the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, focusing on charitable work. What's Bill Gates' exact worth? Bill Gates, according to Forbes, is currently worth an estimated $130.7 billion. He is the fourth richest person in the world right now, after Elon Musk, Bernard Arnault and family, and Jeff Bezos. He earned the majority of his wealth as CEO and chief software architect of Microsoft, and although he stepped down as the chair in 2014, he still owns 1.34% of the company he co-founded, which is still a pretty hefty amount when you consider that Microsoft is estimated to be worth over $1 trillion. Bill Gates is truly an example of someone that used his wealth for the greater good. Even during 2021 and the COVID-19 pandemic, his charity foundation spent more than $1.9 billion to combat its effects. No Gates, no green. Bill Gates shifted his focus towards the damaging effects of climate change and has been working towards creating a greener and cleaner environment. Breakthrough Energy, an umbrella name for the many organizations founded by Gates back in 2015, aims to speed up innovation in the sustainable energy industry and other technologies that will help to reduce future and current greenhouse gas emission rates. His firm has goals to invest primarily in businesses where the risk of failure is high and the time return on the investment is 20 years, something most firms and organizations avoid. But what is exactly what the sustainable energy industry needs? Recently, the fund is on the way to investing in clean technology-based projects worth about $15 billion in the UK, EU, and the US. The goal is to support technologies at scale to help countries reach net zero emissions. Breakthrough Energy Catalyst will invest in areas such as direct air capture, aviation fuel, green hydrogen, and energy storage technologies. He also backs Impossible Foods, a company that primarily creates plant-based substitutes for meat products. Furthermore, he pushed for governments as well as the private sector to invest funds into development to create reliable but clean energy sources, cheaper and more accessible. He is a visionary that wants to bring a breakthrough to sustainable energy. Without Bill Gates spearheading these movements and helping in gathering the funding from major philanthropists, influential personalities, and companies, who are to say this project won't crash completely? At the very least, without Gates, the rate at which this organization is maximizing its potential will decrease, and its funding will surely go down. And knowing that between the years 1994 and 2018, Bill Gates has donated more than $36 billion to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which is also the biggest charitable foundation in the US, the charities of the world would miss Gates the most. In the year 2019 alone, Bill Gates actually donated $519 million, and he has also encouraged fellow billionaires to donate large sums to charitable causes. Where does Gates invest his money? A question on all our minds is, what do you do with your money when you're among the richest people in the world? Investments in corporations and different companies are to be expected. Gates holds equity in a brand advertisement and integration company called Branded Entertainment Network. He backed ResearchGate, which is a social networking site for scientists, researchers, and developers. He is chairperson of TerraPower, a nuclear reactor design company. Through his private office known as Gates Ventures, he also funds enterprises in sustainable energy, education, healthcare, and poverty relief. Although his investment portfolio is pretty vast, he also puts in a significant amount into real estate and other physical assets, which includes a private island reportedly purchased for upwards of $25 million. Xanadu 2.0 is Gates' home in Seattle. It is an oceanside lodge hosting over 66,000 square feet with state-of-the-art technology and gadgets, 24 bathrooms, and 6 fireplaces. Nearly everything is computer-controlled. What else can you expect from the co-founder of Microsoft? Back in 2019, the property was valued at about $131.14 million. He has property in Florida, a 4-bedroom mansion and horse ranch for $8.7 million. He spent about $21 million on a horse farm in 2019, not surprising as Jennifer Gates, his daughter, is an award-winning equestrian. But land isn't the only physical asset that acquired Gates' interest. He also has an eye for planes and vehicles. In 2018, he apparently owned 2 Bombardier BD-700 Global Express jets. To put that into perspective, Bombardier jets likely cost in the ballpark of $45 million apiece. Gates also owns a Jaguar XJ6 and a Ferrari 348. His most recent purchase was the fully electric Porsche Taycan, a purchase that led to a Twitter showdown with Elon Musk, Tesla CEO. The younger Gates also has a taste for one-of-a-kind collectibles. Back in 1994, he bought a celebrated Leonardo da Vinci manuscript at auction for $30.8 million. He also purchased Winslow Homer's Lost on the Grand Banks for $36 million and George Bellows' Polo Crowd for $28 million. Crazy Conspiracies edition, Bill Gates is already dead. A bizarre theory emerged in 2020 that the philanthropist Bill Gates and his ex-wife Melinda died in a car crash in 2013, and now there are clones that are being used to emulate them as being alive and well. The morbid theory was shared by a blog in 2020 and began to resurface on Instagram. There was absolutely no evidence to support this, as is the usual case with these crazy internet conspiracies. But even more importantly, there is a huge amount of evidence that shows that both of them are alive. In the same year, the pair were photographed in New York accepting an award, and again while meeting ex-Secretary General of the United Nations. Who gets Bill's pot of gold after his passing? Bill and Melinda have 3 children, 20-year-old Jennifer, 17-year-old Rory, and Phoebe, who is 14. However, unlike most rich individuals, he has said that rather than giving away all his money to his heirs, he is gifting them with the most important asset of all, education. He wants his children to build their own careers rather than feed off of their inheritance. So you heard that right, Bill Gates' kids will get no billion-dollar trust fund, just years of schooling like the rest of us. Though, unlike us, he did add that there would be a bit of financial safety net in place for them so that they will never be completely abandoned. To quote Gates exactly, he said, "Our kids will receive a great education and some money, so they are never going to be poorly off, but they'll go out and have their own career." Further explaining it by continuing, "It's not a favor to kids to have them have huge sums of wealth. It distorts anything they might do, creating their own path." After departing a small number of funds to their children, Gates and his wife will give the rest of their fortune to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which funds humanitarian causes all around the globe. In 2021, Bill Gates and Melinda Gates separated in what might be known as one of the most expensive divorces in history. The duo established that they would continue to run their charity together. Melinda's net worth is now at least $2.4 billion. While the stock transfer slightly lowered Bill's at the time, he continues to hold his title as the 4th richest person on the planet. Melinda Gates received 2.94 million shares of Autonation, which in total is worth $309 million. 155.4 million shares of Mexican broadcaster Grupo Televisa S.A., which is worth $386 million, and 14.1 million shares of Canadian National Railway Company, which is valued at an estimated $1.5 billion, according to Forbes. She also acquired 25.8 million shares of Coca-Cola FEMSA, which is valued at $120 million. As for Microsoft, Gates only holds about 1.3% of shares in the company now, with the current CEO and chairman being Satya Nadella. Before being promoted to this position, Nadella held supervision roles in both enterprise and consumer businesses throughout the company. Well guys, that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon too so you never miss out on one of our uploads. See you next time!